This recording is from the ACA World Convention that was held virtually in April of 2020. The WSO is grateful to all of those that provided service and that attended. ACA is an anonymous program. Please respect the anonymity of those that participated in the event. You can visit us online at adultchildren.org, where we have pages dedicated to newcomers and a free literature downloads page. Our service websites, acawso.org and acawsoec.org, have information about being of service, and literature and medallions are available for purchase, and the Seventh Tradition contributions can be made at shop.adultchildren.org. Please enjoy the following recording from the 2020 ABC, Global Connections Strengthen Our Recovery.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and a warm welcome to the global ACA community. Welcome to the 5th Annual ACA World Convention, our first fully convention.
Virtual.
While this is a difficult time for us all, we see moments like this that bring us together, and for that we are grateful for ACA recovery. This is the 6th of 13 meetings being held over 26 hours for this ACA World Convention, themed Global Connections Strengthen Our Recovery. You can find the schedule at acawso.org, our fellowship's service website. My name is not Jim B, it's Sarah O. I'm an adult child as well, and I am a fellow member, not the chair, just a member of the ACA WSO Service Network Committee. I'm grateful to be here with you all. I'm grateful to the members of the Service Network Committee for being here and for the opportunity to serve and lead the session. A note on anonymity. Please remember our spiritual principle of anonymity as this meeting workshop is being broadcast around the world and will also be recorded and distributed later. We therefore ask that you do not record any audio, video, or pictures of the AWC. We also ask that you do not share the link to this conference. Each member can request their own access to the AWC. This is so they can acknowledge our commitment to trying to protect the personal anonymity of our AWC attendees. During the meeting, only the active speakers will be unmuted. Some meetings may ask for sharing or for volunteers. Please use the raise hand feature in the participant screen at that time to request to speak. You will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Also note that video cameras, microphones, and chat are disabled for all viewers. This is to ensure a safe listening experience. Please also rename yourself in the participant screen so that you show only your first name and an initial. This will preserve your anonymity when you're sharing during sharing time. All right, please join me in opening our meeting with the ACA Serenity Prayer. You can say it in whatever language or way is best for you. Let's take a deep breath in and out. And let's start with the ACA Serenity Prayer, or whichever one is best for you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. Thank you. I would like to turn the meeting over for our opening. Okay, I'll read this part and then we have volunteers for the next ones. We meet to share the experience we had as children growing up in an alcoholic or dysfunctional home. That experience infected us then and it affects us today. By practicing the 12 steps, by focusing on the solution, and by accepting a higher power of our understanding, we find freedom from the effects of alcoholism and other family dysfunction. We identify with the problem and learn to live in the solution one day at a time. Justine, would you do the honor of reading the laundry list, please?
Thank you, Sarah. My name is Justine. I'm an adult child in recovery. The laundry list. 1, we became isolated and afraid of people and authority figures. 2, we became approval seekers and lost our identity in the process. 3, we are frightened by angry people and any personal criticism. 4, we either become alcoholics, marry them, or both, or find another compulsive personality, such as a workaholic, to fulfill our sick abandonment needs. 5, we live life from the viewpoint of victims, and we are attracted by that weakness in our love and friendship relationships. 6, we have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, and it is easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. This enables us not to look too closely at our own faults. 7, we get guilt feelings when we stand up for ourselves instead of giving in to others. 8, we become addicted to excitement. 9, we confuse love with pity and tend to love people who we can pity and rescue. 10, we have stuffed our feelings from our traumatic childhoods and have lost the ability to feel or express our feelings because it hurts so much. Denial. 11, we judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. 12, we are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment and will do anything to hold on to a relationship in order not to experience painful abandonment feelings, which we received from living with sick people who were never there emotionally for us. 13, alcoholism is a family disease, and we became para-alcoholics and took on the characteristics of the disease even though we did not pick up the drink. 14, para-alcoholics are reactors rather than actors.
Thank you, Justine. Sharon, would you do the honor of reading the solution?
Yes, I will. Can I be heard okay?
Thank you, Sharon. Yes.
All right, thank you. Hi, I'm Sharon, an adult child. The solution is to become your own loving parent. As ACA becomes a safe place for you, you will find freedom to express all the hurts and fears you have kept inside and to free yourself from the shame and blame that are carryovers from the past. You will become an adult who is imprisoned no longer by childhood reactions. You will recover the child within you, learning to accept and love yourself. The healing begins when we risk moving out of isolation. Feelings and buried memories will return. By gradually releasing the burden of unexpressed grief, we slowly move out of the past. We learn to reparent ourselves with gentleness, humor, love, and respect. This process allows us to see our biological parents as the instruments of our existence. Our actual parent is a higher power, whom some of us choose to call God. Although we had alcoholic or dysfunctional parents, our higher power gave us the 12 steps of recovery. This is the action and work that heals us. We use the steps, we use the meetings, we use the telephone. We share our experience, strength, and hope with each other. We learn to restructure our sick thinking one day at a time. When we release our parents from responsibility for our actions today, we become free to make helpful decisions as actors, not reactors. We progress from hurting to healing to helping. We awaken to a sense of wholeness that we never knew was possible. By attending these meetings on a regular basis, you will come to see parental alcoholism or family dysfunction for what it is, a disease that infected you as a child and continues to affect you as an adult. You will learn to keep the focus on yourself in the here and now. You will take responsibility for your own life and supply your own parenting. You will not do this alone. Look around you and you will see others who know how you feel. We will love and encourage you no matter what. We ask you to accept us just as we accept you. This is a spiritual program based on action coming from love. We are sure that as the love grows inside you, you will see beautiful changes in all your relationships, especially with God, yourself, and your parents. And I pass.
Thank you. And Christy, would you do the honor of reading the 12 steps, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
The ACA 12 steps. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over the effects of alcoholism or other family dysfunction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand God. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand God, praying only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others who still suffer and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Thank you. And Carol, would you do the honors of reading the 12 traditions, please?
Thank you. They are my favorite.
Hi, Carol.
The ACA 12 traditions. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on ACA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as expressed in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for membership in ACA is a desire to recover from the effects of growing up in an alcoholic or otherwise dysfunctional family. 4, each group is autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or ACA as a whole. We cooperate with all other 12-step programs. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the adult child who still suffers. 6, an ACA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the ACA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every ACA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, adult children of alcoholics should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, ACA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, adult children of alcoholics has no opinion on outside issues, hence the ACA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, TV, films, and other public media. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your service of reading. You may have related to our readings even if there was no apparent alcoholism or addiction in your home. This is common because dysfunction can occur in a family without the presence of addiction. We welcome you all to this workshop. What you hear at this meeting should remain at the meeting. We do not talk about another person's story or experiences to other people. Please respect the anonymity of those who share with us today. ACA meetings have one primary purpose: to carry the message to adult children who still suffer. This group believes that allowing predatory behavior to occur in and around meetings creates a distraction from this purpose. Please see the adultchildren.org free literature page for the ACA commitment to addressing predatory behavior tent card. The website is being added to the chat box. https it's acawso.org/category/A Everyone, welcome to today's workshop. We progress from hurting to healing to helping. This is a workshop on service in our ACA recovery. It's going to be taking place up until 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Please refrain from posting questions in the chat related to the workshop topics until you are prompted to do so. We have 459 people on this workshop right now, and I want to be able to attend to questions. So we're going to save time for questions towards the end. I will prompt you to put questions in the chat at that time. Thank you. We progress from hurting to healing to helping. Today's workshop will include audience participation, what brings you here, experience, strength, and hope on service. Depending on the audio, we'll have Justine F. or Carol C. share a little bit of experience, strength, and hope, and then we'll open it up to 1-minute shares from people who we can get on to share with us. Then we'll go over how to start an ACA meeting for 10 or 15 minutes, how to start an ACA intergroup for about 10 or 15 minutes. It all depends on how much time we take on the other topics. We will go over how to start an ACA region. Then we'll open up for questions and we'll give you brief answers. And we'll have a couple of remarks from all of us on the Service Network Committee. Again, please refrain from posting in the chat until prompted to do so. If you do have technological issues, you may post in the chat to all panelists. Thank you. All right, so the workshop is the topic, we progress from hurting to healing to helping, and we're glad you're here. We'd like to know what brings you to this workshop. So we're gonna clear all the hands that are up, if there are any hands up right now. Take a couple of seconds for that to happen. And next, I'm going to ask you all to use the raise hand feature if you have it. And if you are a newcomer to ACA, please raise your hand. Are we able to tell how many hands are raised?
We got 15, 10 or 15, and Karen T is first up.
All right, I want to welcome you all to ACA. You're welcome here. Keep coming back and stick around. Let's clear the hands and let's see who all is here because you would like to hear experience, strength, and hope about service. So if you're here at this workshop and you're looking forward to hearing experience, strength, and hope about service, please raise your hand.
Oh, I got confused. We got 56 hands out of 448.
That's great. Okay, well, glad you're here. Let's clear the hands again. And let's see if we have anyone on the call or in this workshop who would like to know how to start an ACA meeting. If you're curious about starting an ACA meeting, or maybe you have started an ACA meeting or you participated in that and you're willing to share a little bit of your thoughts on that experience, you can raise your hand.
Okay, we got about 26, 27.
That's wonderful.
30, then people change their mind.
Well, we're glad you're here. Okay, we're going to clear the hands again, and I am curious to know if there's anyone on here who's curious about starting an ACA intergroup or you are serving in an intergroup and you have experience, strength, and hope that you could share with us in this workshop.
All right. 25 seems to be the sweet spot. 26.
Oh, that's great. I'm not gonna get distracted and do the numerology on that. I'm gonna move on to number 5. So we'll clear the hands. I am particularly curious about this one. Is there anyone that's on the call that is curious about starting an ACA region? Curious about what that is, or is doing service on forming a region, starting a region, currently serving on an ACA region?
Well, you never guess what number it is.
I can't raise my hand, but
25.
that's wonderful. So I'm going to make sure that we spend time on each one of these topics. Newcomers, please stay on. We will have time at the end of the workshop to take questions, 1-minute shares, and all of the experience, strength, and hope that we're offering here has you in mind as well. All right, so please refrain from posting in the chat related to these topics until you're prompted to do so. Thank you. So we're going to move on to our lead share. We're going to take 5 minutes on this share. I want to check in with Justine and see if her audio is working. And if it's not, we'll move on to Carol. Justine, are you there?
I'm here. I wasn't aware that there was a problem before until Jim pointed it out. I apologize for that. How do I sound?
You sound great.
Okay. Maybe my kids shut off their video games and tablets and phones. And
So we're going to give you 5 minutes. Do you want a 1-minute warning?
please.
Okay. Kelly, your timing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. My name is Justine. I am the child of 2 addicts and very grateful to be in recovery. I went to my first ACA meeting in July 1986 in the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts. I did not get involved with service then, primarily because I didn't stick around too long. I came back into program in 2013 and got into service almost, well, I kind of cried my way through the first 3 months and then was terrified to even lead a meeting for maybe 6 months after that. And then decided that I wanted to start a meeting and went from no service to service geek, as Jim has called us, really very quickly. And I think starting that meeting actually was huge for me because it was the first time I ever asked for help without, dying a little inside. It's still very difficult for me, but 3 people and I started a meeting, and I acted as secretary for that meeting for 4 years and learned a lot about service in that 4 years, how much it could add to my recovery and how strong my traits were, and the dangers of recovery, the dangers of service in recovery for me. Being in that position for 4 years was not necessarily a healthy thing. And I had to let go of the fear of disappointing anyone, the fear that the meeting would fold because year after year no one would step up. It was a really tremendous growth experience for me to just walk into the meeting one day and say, listen, our anniversary is in 6 months and I will not continue. And to have faith in the meeting and the people there, And it's been over a year and a half, and that meeting is still thriving. I was one of the early members of the Pennsylvania Intergroup, where I still serve. I helped that intergroup create their literature program, which is one of the greatest things that we do for our local members. Everybody needs literature and access to literature, and lower cost access to literature is only a benefit, right? That intergroup has grown in the 4 years that I have been involved with them. There are so many new people giving service to intergroup. It's really, it's very energizing and exciting, and gives me a lot of hope for the future. I have also been privileged to be part of the start of a region.
1 minute.
The Northeast, thank you. Northeast U.S. region is going strong. I can't, 5 minutes is not enough time to do justice to how doing service has grown my recovery, my self-concept, my knowledge that I can give from a place of love and not a place of fear. I learned all that from service. I'm very grateful that there are so many people here who are interested in service also. So thanks for coming. And I hope that you get a lot out of the rest of our program and stick around to sign up for lots of things. Be well.
Thank you, Justine, for your experience, strength, and hope. So we're going to move on now. If we could get back to the slide, we have a little bit of time here to open up for 1 minute shares. So what I'm going to do is first ask the panelists if they would like to share in 1 minute, what does service do for your ACA recovery? And I also want to take some time, we're going to spend another 10 minutes on this topic to open it up for participants to share also for 1 minute how service is helping their ACA recovery. I'm going to ask that we focus on that, and we'll have more opportunities to share at other parts of the workshop. So panelists, go ahead and raise your hands if you would like to share. I think Jim has to clear out all the hands first. And so we give him a minute for that. And then Jim, let us know when we can raise our hands on the panel side.
It was only that we have one hand raised so far, and my hand is raised even though you don't see it. We've got Kelly first, then Christy, and then me at this time.
Okay, great. And Kelly, I'm going to ask you to time 1 minute each.
Thank you, Jim and Sarah. So just the title of the workshop, From Hurting to Healing to Helping, grabbed my attention because I haven't heard that in a while, but that has definitely been my experience. It took me, I was in ACA a minimum of a year. I've been in about 10 years, and I slowly started to eke into service. And honestly, for me at that time, it was more about keeping me involved. It was about keeping me involved. And then I saw a need in some of the meetings. I'm from the telephone meeting, so I actually started doing service by doing timekeeping, just like I'm doing tonight. But it's in the last couple of years, it's really catapulted. Getting involved in some WSO committees has really shifted it for me. I mean, it's taken it from, a me program to a we program a lot more. I mean, I've really had to look at some of the areas of my own recovery as far as laundry list traits. I mean, you get into service and those laundry list traits, as far as I can tell, that's a good place to act them out. So it's really, in that way, it's really made my my recovery grow leaps and bounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly. Was Christy next?
Yes, thank
Christy.
you. Hi, everybody. I am from the telecom groups. I started doing service the first night I went to a meeting. The first telephone group I went to, I offered to take time, and within a week, I thought, if I'm going to stick this out, I need to do service. I had done therapy for many, many years, and I'd worked through the books on my own. So being with groups was a new experience to me, but I liked helping the people-pleasing part of me. But the great part of it is that with the guidelines that you have and the setup that you have, you can't really run with it. You need to stay within the traditions. And for me, it helped mold me and helped me not to be a people pleaser, but to be a rule follower and to do what was good for me and help people in the process. And so I moderate now. I've been moderating for over a year. And I'm just very, very grateful as a recovering child to have found a home group and helps them in the process. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Christy. Jim?
Yes, thank you, Sarah, and thank you for the opportunity to share this evening. Yeah, just thinking about ACA and ACA meetings. I remember when I first started going to ACA, gasoline was kind of at its peak between $4 and $5, and with the distance of meetings, it was like $15, $20 to drive to a meeting, and it prompted me to want to start a meeting in my own town, and it was very, very rewarding to do that, and the meeting is still ongoing, but it just really drove home the point of how there's just such a misunderstanding of ACA, and try to explain it to some people, and they just wouldn't get it. They're like, oh no, we have an Al-Anon meeting, or we have a CODA meeting already, so why would you want that meeting also? And just the connection that I got at my first meeting of hearing the laundry list was just so powerful, and that level of connection and being understood and feeling a part of is just so tremendous. I've always been I've been a conference kind of convention junkie for a while at another program, just loving to go to these weekend conventions, and to come to ACA at a point where it's still such a small fellowship, and there's just so much that you can do to be a part of, and I'm just amazed at the stuff that's happening, and just to see the growth where we are now. I'm just so excited to see what's next for us, and thanks for letting me share tonight.
Thank you, Jim. So now we're going to open the floor. We're going to clear the hands. Give us 1 minute to do that. I'm going to ask our attendees to focus your shares on service and ACA, how service has helped your recovery. I want us to focus on the experience, strength, and hope. Emphasis on hope. Go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to share for 1 minute with us. And Jim B, I'm going to let you take away that part. We're going to do this for 5 minutes, so we might get to maybe 5 shares.
Okay, I'm going to queue up a few people. First 3 are queued up. Your microphone should be coming on. Yolanda, please share.
Hello, do you hear me?
Hi, Yolanda.
Hi, Yolanda from the Netherlands. Thank you for this. Service teach me first. I did it from ego to compensate my low self-esteem. And that was in other 12-step programs. And later in ACA, I learned more the roots of this and the authority figure part, the controlling behavior. And now I'm more moving up, learning to give from out action, coming from love. And first I drove 1 hour to another town. And recently in December, I helped putting up a new meeting closer to my hometown, 10 minutes drive. And I could do this because there were already 2 others in the neighborhood interested. So you only need 2-3 people to make a new meeting. And the tools to do that, they're all in the big red book. So I have already the experience of going 2 years, 2.5 years to the other meeting. So yeah, grateful to do the service now on another level. And the knife cuts at both ends. So I help the fellowship and I'm also helping myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda, for sharing.
Okay, and next up is Benjamin.
Hi, I'm Benjamin. Can you hear me?
Hi, Benjamin.
Yes, I'm from Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. And I've been in ACA coming up on lucky 13 years. And I found ACA by accidentally walking in one day looking for an AA meeting. Boy, talking about irony and destiny. The group was great. And then sort of the group started to falter a bit. And then at that point, I was all in and I realized that ACA was my life. And so I started to do whatever I had to do to keep the group going. And I ended up doing several service positions. And I too am a convention junkie. And I found out that there was an intergroup, much to my shock. And I drove over to Falls Church and found them and met them. And I got involved with them. And then I found out that there were conventions. And it seemed to be the next logical step for me to find out. And in doing so, I'm able to bring these things back to my home group. I'm serving as the delegate now to this convention for my home group. And I just can't get enough. And I know the more I get and can give back to my group, the more I'm gonna grow in recovery. And ACA has saved my life. It has filled the empty hole that I always had. And I think service is something, one of the things that it needs to be pointed out is that service is part of recovery. And I think the sooner our newcomers learn that, the sooner we'll have more folks to help out in service. But again, it's the whole miracle of meeting new people and getting involved in new activities is also part of the recovery journey. And I'm just so grateful to be part of it. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin. And we have time for Mary next.
Yep, and that'll be our last share. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi, this is Mary from Bar Harbor, Maine, and I'm so grateful to be here. I started in ACA in Maine in 1987, and that 12-step program fell apart pretty quickly after it started. And I was reintroduced to ACA in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 2010. And then moved back to Maine and started a group here in 2017 for somebody else. And that person didn't stay, but I did. And I'm so grateful for the other people who showed up after that. We're a vacation area, and so we have people from all over the country who come to meetings during the summertime especially. I don't know where I'd be without the meeting, and so I tell people that I started it for somebody else, or I thought I did, but actually I started it for myself. It's really strengthened my recovery. I'm very grateful to be able to do service through sponsorship and just through the meetings. Other people now host meetings. We now have 3 meetings during this time. So we started a new meeting in the winter before we went to Zoom meetings.
Mary.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Mary. Okay, we're going to move on to the next part of our panel. All right, so we're going to talk about ACA meetings and service at the ACA meeting level. There's an email there. This is the contact for anything related to issues that come up in meetings. If you want guidance from WSO or guidance on how to start a meeting. As you consider doing service in an ACA meeting, consider the Tradition 9 meditation. Higher power, may I remember that ACA and its meetings and service structure are different than my family of origin. May I be patient and avoid reaching for the easiest way out when I am confronted with a difficult situation. Help me and my ACA group ask for help in keeping our meetings safe and recovery-oriented. Also help us celebrate the things that we do right. Okay, next slide. ACA meetings. An ACA meeting is when 2 or more adult children gather together to share their experience, strength, and hope with each other for recovery. The program grows because someone has a need to begin a new meeting and tries to meet that need. Next slide. There are different ACA meeting types. A closed meeting is a meeting reserved for those identifying as an adult child. An open meeting is open to observers, friends, and relatives of the adult child. Step study meetings, 12 tradition study, newcomer, beginner introductory meeting, and writing meetings. Next slide, please. Why are ACA meetings important? We've already heard experience, strength, and hope on that. It is the meetings who participate with a fellowship as a whole that provide the guidance for developing the framework that will assure the ACA program will continue. The meetings are responsible for developing the network by which they can carry the message to others seeking recovery through the ACA program, communicate with the ACA fellowship as a whole, with the 12th step and the 1st tradition, and ensure the future of ACA. All members of ACA are invited to attend the annual business conference, the ABC, and each meeting is asked to send 1 voting delegate and an alternate delegate to the annual business conference. Next slide, please. Before you start a meeting, consider the following steps. And so I have a list of steps here. I'm going to read through them slowly. Bear with me here. And all the slides are going to be available at the acawso.org website if you ever need to go back to them. You can read, download, and or print the free guidelines for new meetings on adultchildren.org. 2, if you haven't already, you can sign up for the Traveler monthly newsletter to keep up with announcements, news, and events from the ACA Fellowship on adultchildren.org. 3, if there is an intergroup nearby, they can offer support. You can find intergroups listed in the intergroup directory on, you guessed it, www.adultchildren.org. 4, get the word out to your community by placing ACA trifolds with permission in libraries, with counselors, community bulletin boards, or with permission with 12-step fellowships. These and other trifolds can be downloaded on the free literature link on adultchildren.org. You can use a sample format that you can download. Use that in the beginning until the group decides to hold a group conscience meeting to make changes. So that sample format you'll find in the Big Red Book, and you can download it also at adultchildren.org. The handbook for adult children, which is the back of our Big Red Book. The Big Red Book is our fellowship text. It's big and it's red. That's why we call it the Big Red Book. Starting on page 557 in our fellowship text, there you'll find steps to follow, how to start a meeting, and you'll find meeting formats in there as well. Each meeting provides opportunities for service which keep the meeting operational. In a typical meeting, several people do a little of the work and the jobs get done. Officers like chairs, secretaries, treasurers, intergroup representatives, literature persons, sponsors, contact persons, etc. We will now open the floor. Let me see. Yeah, we have time for 1-minute shares. So we're going to clear the hands, and when we have the go from Jim, people will be allowed to raise their hand to share. Please focus on experience, strength, and hope on the topic of starting an ACA meeting, or if you've held a service position at the ACA meeting level, you can share about that as well. Please refrain from posting in the chat until you'll be prompted to do so, and save questions for the end. We will have time for questions.
Okay, Tara K is up first.
Right, and Kelly, you can time 1-minute shares. Tara, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you for
Tara.
letting me share tonight. Hello. So my name is Tara, and I am from the great state of Washington, and I am currently the H&I, which stands for Hospitals and Institutions, chairperson for our intergroup for the state of Washington. And I'm really glad that I'm able to go into service works, because honestly, when I was in the treatment center, one of the 12 fellowship groups came in, and they had the message for me, and I really connected with it. And so for me, I feel it's really important to go into the treatment facilities where they're not able to come out to our regular meetings. And also during this time, we are not able to hold our annual, our ACA panel group that goes in and shares the message of hope and strength to the patients. We're not able to do that at this time. So the idea of having Zoom meetings might be a possibility in the future if they're able to set it up to where we can do that. Because not only would it provide more opportunities for people to enter service work, I'll close up with this, but it gives the opportunity for the patients to hear more strength and hope from other ACA family members. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you, Tara.
Okay, next up is Duncan.
Hey, thanks everybody. This is great stuff. I've been in service. I've been in service in groups, intergroup, and other things. I wanted to mention a thing that I do that I'm not surprised it's not on your list for starting a meeting, but because I go to various different fellowship meetings, I hear people talking about ACA issues at other meetings all the time. And I oftentimes speak with people after the meeting and ask them if they've heard of ACA. This is a recipe for me for starting meetings in new areas. When I get about a dozen people that are begging me to start ACA, then we start the meeting with folks from other fellowships who want ACA added into the mix. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Duncan.
Okay, Shari is next.
Oh, hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. I'm from California, and we thank you guys, by the way, for having this. Is awesome. So the way we set up our meetings out here, we didn't have a ACA meeting in the area, and we were traveling kind of like an hour to get to meetings. So we set it up, and we had no experience working with the steps. So I had a meeting here at my house once a week, about 8 of us, well, maybe it was 6. 6 of us met, we did the steps, and then from there, after we were done with all of the steps, we opened up the meeting here in Fremont, and it was really a great experience, but we figured we better have some experience with the steps before opening our meeting, and that way we would have enough potential sponsors, and so it worked out really good. Anyways, I just wanted to share a little experience in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Shari.
Okay, we're going to go to Paul D.
Hey family, this is Paul D from South Florida.
Hi, Paul. We're having a hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Paul Donahue, or Paul D from South Florida.
Hi, Paul.
Thank you for your service. I just want to reiterate something about emotional sobriety and how Bill W. wrote The Next Frontier. And I truly believe that he's looking down upon ACA going, this is exactly what I meant. It has been really phenomenal over the last 9 years of my recovery to watch ACA blossom. And Omar was one of the gentlemen that helped put the Red Book together. And when it came out, it just took off. And here in South Florida, it's amazing how many people are involved in really pushing the growth of ACA. And I'm just really glad to be a part of it as well. So God bless everybody, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, we have to move. Oh, wait, actually, I can take a couple more. Do we still have hands up, Jim?
Yes, and I'm taking a risk here. I'm going to promote someone to a panelist because they have an old version. So Carmelita is coming in as a panelist in a second. So Carmelita, please share. I'm going to unmute you, Carmelita. Oh.
Hi, I'm Carmelita from Illinois.
Hi, Carmelita.
And in the early 2000s, there was already a meeting on the South Side, and we used the big Red Book. And so I ordered it. I had started in the 1980s when it was called ACOA, but then I moved to Chicago. So anyway, they covered, they used the big Red Book, but I also found out about the 12-step workbook. So when somebody wanted to start another ACA meeting on the South Side that was on a different day, I went, and I was one of the 4 people that helped to start that meeting. And I suggested that we use the 12 and 12 workbook instead, because it had lots of questions and all. And I suggested that instead of having one step per meeting, that we just go through all the questions. And wherever we stopped, then we continue the next week with the next questions. And we'd read one question, and anybody who wanted to share would share on it. And then when they were finished sharing on that question, then we went to the next one. So it took us 3 years to get through the whole book, but it was very helpful because people were able to get really honest and to share about the questions for each of the 12 steps that are in the workbook. And at first there was some resistance because they wanted to do it like the other group. But thank you. But then people from the other group came because they wanted to continue to do it that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmelita. How many more hands do we have up, Jim?
We got 6.
Okay, let's go ahead, and depending on how long the shares are, we're going to try to get 3 or 4 more.
Okay, we've got Judy coming up next. If you could unmute yourself, Judy.
Hi, thank you. I'm Judy. I'm in California.
Hi, Judy.
Thank you so much for your service. This has been a great day. I'm 6 months in ACA after many, many years in other programs, and I feel like a total newcomer. And I went to my first meeting 6 months ago, and it was a struggling meeting. And after about 3 times that I went, the treasurer had been doing it for a few years and wanted to quit, and some people wanted to quit. So I stepped in to be the treasurer, which I hate doing the money, but I just did it. And it's been miraculous for me to bring me to that meeting every week as a newcomer. And I'm just kind of overwhelmed by all the ACA stuff, but it's kept me going. And then when the virus came, I have a Zoom account for my work, and I've been able to sponsor the meeting in terms of the Zoom stuff. So I'm running that as the host, and I'm just, I'm a little overwhelmed today emotionally about it because ACA is saving my life, and I'm just so grateful that I can step into service and continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay, we have LaDonna next.
Yep. Yep. Thanks a lot. LaDonna.
Hi, LaDonna.
Hi. Yeah. Okay. Quickly. I just put up our phone meeting in the chat room. It's on Wednesday night at 7. We have a call-in phone meeting. It would be great to have you guys come. 605-313-5800, code 550022#. And we, after our meeting, started the STEP workbook, the yellow workbook, and the crisis hit, the virus hit. And we moved it from the meeting to just meeting every day. So literally in about 10 minutes, I get off this line and I'm going to be in the yellow book. And we do 5 minutes of writing, and then we do 3-minute shares, and we time it, no crosstalk. And it's been a really eye-opening experience. So I recommend doing the workbook, timing, and giving time to write. Thank you very much.
Thank you, LaDonna. I went ahead and posted that back into the chat for all the attendees to get that Wednesday, Seattle, 7 p.m. meeting information.
All right, Stefan, please share.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Stefan from
Hi, Stefan. Can you speak up, please? We have a hard time hearing you.
see where I can get.
Oops, sorry. Try again, Stefan.
Hello? Well, you know what? I'll share it later. I'm gonna switch headphones.
Okay.
Okay.
Move over to Liz. Liz C.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Liz.
Hi, good to hear your voice.
Can you raise your volume, Liz?
I don't know if I know how to do that. I can turn off my Bluetooth.
Is that better?
Yes.
Much better.
So doing service in ACA, when I first came to ACA about 4 years ago, the only service I could do was to sit in the seat. And even sitting in the seat or on your computer or your phone these days is doing service to those around you. And then I became the intergroup rep for that meeting, and then I became the intergroup chair for Connecticut, and I'm attending as the Connecticut delegate today. The things that I got out of service are innumerable, really. It's the more you give, the more you get back. I get to meet people who are really involved in ACA, which helps me float to the top. If I hang out with awesome people, then they rub off on me. And doing business meetings has taught me so many things about listening, humility, and making sure that everybody has an equal voice, whether they are gregarious or shy. So I thank you very much for your service, and it's great to be participating.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, so we're going to move on. Please stay on. We're going to take questions at the end. Next topic we have for you all is intergroups. There's an email here if you need guidance or support to start an intergroup. You can contact intergroups at adultchildren.org. For service at the intergroup level, consider our Tradition 5 meditation, Higher Power. Help me remember that ACA has one primary purpose, which centers the fellowship and which simplifies most discussions. Help me remember to ask myself a simple question when I am doing the business of ACA. Does what we are about to do support the primary purpose of carrying the ACA message to another adult child needing help? Next slide, please. Intergroups in ACA. It is often financially beneficial to all meetings to group together as an intergroup to serve the local ACA fellowship, rather than each meeting duplicating the same services. Intergroups serve an important function within the structure of ACA as a whole. They play a role in upholding Tradition 5. In tradition 5, we focus on our primary purpose. We carry the message with anonymity and a sincere desire to help others. We practice anonymity in carrying the message by making the message the focus rather than making our personality the focus. ACA members who take on the service of starting or participating in intergroup level service take on a valuable service role and provide leadership in ACA. The WSO Intergroup Subcommittee in the Member Services Committee helps groups come together to develop an intergroup and facilitates intergroups in accordance with the 12 traditions. What is an intergroup, one might ask? ACA members may choose to work together to enrich the ACA program in an intergroup. Intergroups represent ACA meetings, 3 or more, in a specified geographic area, or a group of telephone meetings, or a group of online meetings. The intergroup may meet once a month and provide services for the meetings that participate in the intergroup. Intergroups play a role in carrying the message to the still suffering. The local intergroup may receive the first contact from a newcomer seeking help. For example, if an intergroup has a helpline. They assist the newcomer and support the local meetings by directing them to the local meetings. They could have a meeting list. An intergroup helps groups by more effectively and efficiently providing services than any single meeting can do alone. How to start an intergroup. You would contact the email above, and we're going to open it up to shares again. We have until 9:10. We can share here about reasons to start an intergroup or experience strength and hope serving in an intergroup. And I'll read the questions we have here on the slide. Why start an intergroup? Is it to help yourself and others? Is it to reach out to adult children and to promote ACA's growth and unity? Does your area need an ACA helpline? Does your area need to coordinate hospitals and institutional meetings? Are there AC institutions meetings, sorry. Are there AC events in your area? Are they announced? So we can flip to the next slide. So we'll open up again for 1-minute shares. If you'd like to share about these reasons, you don't have to be on an intergroup. You could just be sharing about what these questions brought up for you. You can also share about experience, strength, and hope, focusing on hope, doing service in the intergroup level.
Okay, we've got Brad L. up first.
Hi, I'm Brad from Maryland.
Hey, Brad.
Hi. I had my hand up from the other one and I forgot to put it down, but I also happen to be the intergroup chair here in Maryland. And it's really been a lot of fun because we get to do website stuff and workshop stuff and outreach stuff, all the kind of stuff to help meetings. And when there was this crisis going on, we got a Zoom line and a sign up genius and got that kind of stuff going to help people to use our Zoom line. And it gets to work with like-minded people that have the same feelings. I guess the other thing say personally, intergroup and leadership and meeting has helped me to stop over-functioning. And so forth, and because I've overfunctioned before in a meeting and had meetings thrived. I've overfunctioned in a group, and even when I step back, and things may not go quite, and things may get dropped a little bit. Eventually, they get picked up, and even if it isn't quite as good as I might want to do, it's okay, and it's been a great help for me personally, not to be as over functioning. And I think a lot of us are black and white, over functioning, under functioning, and it's been a real gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay, and Marcus is next.
All right, Marcus, and that'll be our last share until we move to the next section. Go ahead, Marcus.
Hi, I'm on the East Bay, San Francisco East Bay intergroup, and one thing that was carrying the message and doing something that no meeting could do alone, we got Zoom for many of our meetings during this crisis. And for me, the experience, strength, and hope, one thing is going to the monthly WSO board meetings, to be able to see people operating as true loving parents in the positions of trusted servants and all the work that's being done. It's really inspiring, and it also gives me a feeling of security to know how much work everybody's doing and how much strength there is in ACA. And I guess just the other thing is, I feel like it gives me the ability to really use the traditions as a way to be in the world. And I think that's really important. And it's also really needed for me in service. I can tend to act out, just like being in a relationship. Some of the traits really come out much harder in that type of situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. So we've got our next section on the workshop, and after that we will open it up for Q&A. So the third level of the service structure in ACA is ACA regions. There's the email there if you need guidance on how to start a region or have questions about regions. For service at the region level, consider our Tradition 1 meditation. Higher power, I am your trusted servant, seeking to support my ACA group and its primary purpose. Please remind me that the life of my program and my own recovery depends upon my willingness to put the group's welfare above my own will. Help me recognize unity. Next slide, please. Regions are the third level between intergroups and the World Service Organization in our upside down pyramid that is our service structure. A region serves the intergroups that choose to affiliate with them. Regions open channels of communications between the member intergroups and WSO, as well as between meetings and WSO in areas where no intergroup exists. A region representative to the World Service Organization may serve on the World Service level. Regions are autonomous to select the focus of their efforts to carry the message, and they may select a WSO representative who, if qualifies, can serve on the Board of Trustees. We're gonna have Carol and Justine share for a few minutes in just a couple of slides, so bear with me. How to start an ACA region, and I look forward to Carol and Justine share a little bit about that. There are different ways to start. Members of intergroups may visit ACA meetings, intergroup business meetings, and garner interest. Or intergroup members may talk to each other about starting a region and organize a conference call to share interest in forming a region. The following questions may guide shares during the call. Now, these are just suggestions. How will forming a region help yourself and others? How will the connection among ACAs deepen your recovery? And these are questions we used in the Northeast region. How would this connection promote ACA's growth and unity? Consider the needs in your area. Does your area need a helpline or a special worker? Do you need to coordinate hospitals and institutions meetings? Are the activities within your area coordinated so that the events are announced in a timely manner? Is there interest in a public information committee? You could also discuss short-term and long-term goals for each member that's representing a different intergroup. And then discuss short-term and long-term goals for the region group. So we have a couple of questions here. I'm gonna give a minute, 1 minute each for Carol and Justine. If you could share a little bit on starting a region or what regions do. We're also gonna have Q&A where you'll both get to share a little bit more of wisdom and experience, strength, and hope at the region level.
Carol, you want to start?
Okay. We started the region in the greater Western USA because we decided that we needed to have more meetings and more intergroups, and this was one way to help them grow. And that was our major reason. We wanted to be able to have events that we could more afford than they could individually. We spent a long time looking at how many people, how many intergroups, what kind of meetings were in the greater Western USA, and we used that area accidentally. It turns out it's on the census, that's what they call it. But we found out that the only way we could really be effective was to be that large. We have 13 states. We needed, because we have a lot of states that have absolutely no meetings to speak of, and our real goal is to get meetings going there and then eventually intergroups. And whatever way we have to do that, by having get-togethers now by Zoom, who knows, or in person eventually, in areas that are that way, where people can actually drive and have a conference or something and talk about what's going on in their state or their area, and that's what we did. We started in 2016, just working with a bunch. We contacted a bunch of intergroups and asked them to come and brainstorm, and we came up with graphs of what an intergroup can do, what a meeting can do, what the region could do, what WS can do, and what WSO and what would be the best service entity to do those things. Which one would have the facilities and the people and actually the need to do these things. So that's how we started, and we asked for representatives from each intergroup or from meetings with no intergroup in their area. We now have our chair is Rich. He's a trustee with WSO. He didn't come in as a trustee for the region. He came in on his own.
Fine.
And so that's the story so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, Carol. Northern United States, Northeastern United States region began in earnest about 18 months ago. We represent, I think, 9 states and Washington, D.C. There are 12 intergroups currently and 2 forming, which is really exciting. We are hoping to focus on the formation of new intergroups, being an effective liaison between meetings and WSO. Hosting events absolutely is one of our top priorities. Personally, I get more out of fellowship than I do out of any of my other tools. I'm not going to name them because I don't want them to seem less important. But it's the people that make this program, and we are a heavily populated area for the most part, so there are lots of us. And our goal of bringing us all together into one cohesive kind of unit is really exciting. We have some people who are eager to give service, and for that reason, I am sure that we will do great things. We're happy to serve. Thanks.
Thank you, Justine.
Thank you, Justine. I'm going to ask Justine and Carol if you are willing and if you can to post the link to the Northeast US ACA region website and the Greater Western Region ACA website if you have those available, and you can paste them in the chat. So we're going to open the floor now to questions, and we may or may not have answers for you. So if you have any questions on what we've presented today, please raise your hand. We're going to take maybe 5 questions, and then we'll try to answer them the best that we can. So I want us to have the questions asked first, and then we'll try to address them after.
Okay, we got Christine up first.
Hi, my name's Christine. I'm an adult child, and I recently became somewhat more active in the program. I've been involved in another 12-step program for many years, and my question centers around this. I don't know whether an intergroup or a region is the right thing to start establishing, but I was in China for the past 2 years for at least 3 months each, and I met many people who wanted to be in ACA, and I'm on a chat group of 70 people who are doing ACA in Mandarin, and they've asked me to bring back books or literature on my next trip, and they really want to be involved. So I'd like to be able to point them in some direction if anyone can give me guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Would anyone on the panel like to answer Christine's question?
Yeah, this is Justine.
Hey.
If there are meetings that are interested in setting up an intergroup, then those meetings can support each other. If the problem is that there aren't enough meetings, then I would start there. I guess that means I don't really understand your question, but I hope my half an answer helped.
And Christine, we have emails, so please reach out to us and we can provide further guidance. Next question.
Is Christopher.
Hi, thank you. So one question that came up for myself that I want to answer within the Northeast region meetings is asking intergroups, asking meetings that have no representative intergroup. I'm sorry, yeah. If a meeting does have an intergroup, is your intergroup serving you well? And if not, how can region help meet your needs? I love the idea of growing meetings in quote unquote dry areas with no ACA. That sounds exciting to me. And my question for WSO is, can we help take the workload off of WSO by maybe serving intergroups and meetings sometimes faster than WSO may be able to, or maybe we can do a regional fundraising campaign to help offset, some of the things that I saw in the finance presentation yesterday. And that's it. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christopher. So let's address the question of intergroup related first. Would anyone like to answer that?
I don't understand what question.
It was related to intergroup, right, Christopher?
Well, Christopher is no longer able to speak, unfortunately, but I think the question was about how to help an intergroup that's not functioning well, possibly.
Yeah, thank you.
Is your intergroup serving you? I think is what Christopher said.
Thank you.
And yeah, I definitely think that is one of the primary functions of region, is to grow healthy intergroups. We have a lot in our area. We have a lot of unaffiliated meetings, and it's my personal hope that we will start raising that number of registered intergroups really quickly. Well, all right, maybe not quickly, but steadily.
It's good to be ambitious.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is from Ann Kay from Houston.
Hi there, I'm Ann from the Southeast Texas Intergroup. First off, gratitude for everything you do. Our intergroup is new to the hospitals and institutions. We started out mostly doing workshops and things like that. This quarter, we've started up hospital and institution meetings. We're new to the game, it's going okay, but I'd be glad to compare notes with someone who has done it longer. Does anyone have any tips for hospital and institution meetings?
Tips for hospitals and institution meetings. Anyone on our panel have tips to start a meeting there?
Well, our H&I chair will be doing the next meeting at 10 p.m. Eastern.
I'm going to post the email of the contact that you can reach out to get more information. I unfortunately don't have experience with that yet.
Sarah and Jim, I'd like to call attention to the message that says in chat, says any chance of hearing from non-Americans, please. Do we even have a good way of knowing when folks raise their hands where they're from? Since for the most part, all we have is first name, last initial.
Well, we only have a few hands left, and they look like all American names, unfortunately. But we do encourage people to put your name of your state or country if you can. I do see one new name. I'm gonna try. We got Marius. Sounds not like John or Joe. We'll see if Marius has something to say.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marius from Romania. I've just started a new meeting a few months ago, and I really need some guidance of how to grow, because for now I'm somehow overwhelmed about all the informations, and that's all for now. I will write down to you by mail, and maybe I will get some guidance how to grow and how to become stronger in Romania. Thank you.
That's great, Marius. Yes, please reach out. We have people who are willing to support you.
Yes,
You're not alone.
We do have a strong European committee as well. So definitely reach out to the European committee as well. Their website is linked off of ours, but it's at acawsoec.org.
Now, if folks who still have questions, if you could hang on, we're going to close the meeting, but we're going to stay on and answer more questions after we close. Let's go ahead and get the slides back up. I'm going to race through and get us to the closing.
You got to at least plug this one once.
All right. So I think you have to share the screen, Jim, so we can see this.
Oh, I'm the only one looking at it.
Well, you're getting excited. We want to get excited with you.
I'm so excited looking at that slide.
So these are the members that did the service of showing up for the workshop, and much more services being done than just showing up at this workshop on the Service Network Committee. We would love for you all to join us Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. We have 2 times so that folks from all over the world can join us. You can find more information at that link. There's also a 12 concept study group. You can find the information for that at acawso.org. We're going to post the link to that soon. It's the 3rd Sunday of the month at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's also a time slot that's picked to make sure that we're accessible to as many people as we can. There's a few things we're working on in our committee. One of them is the service manual. So shortly we will have a book coming out, or a digital book coming out to give you best practices for what we just presented today. We're also working on the preamble. That's the next slide. A simple statement to include in your ACA meeting format. You can join our committee to help us with that. And the 7th tradition states every ACA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. We ask that you consider making a 7th tradition contribution at the link here, adultchildren.org/contribute/7th-tradition-contribution. The website details are being added to the chat box. WSO's official PayPal account is available at treasurer@adultchildren.org. You can use Venmo username at ACAWSO. Or you may want to just purchase an MP3 at shop.adultchildren.org. There's a phenomenal bank of speaker recordings on there. The next session will be starting again at 10 p.m. Eastern or EDT, so that's in about 30 minutes. Rich R., I'm looking forward to this, Healthy Communication Workshop. We hope you enjoy your virtual trip around the ACA world as we keep this convention going. Kelly, our spiritual timekeeper, will now do the honors of reading the promises.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hey, Kelly.
The ACA promises. 1, we will discover our real identities by loving and accepting ourselves. 2, our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. 3, fear of authority figures and the need to, quote, people please will leave us. 4, our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. 5, as we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. 6, we will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. 7, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. 8, we will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. 9, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. 10, fears of failures and success will leave us as we intuitively make healthier choices. 11, with help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. And 12, gradually, with our higher power's help, we will learn to expect the best and get it.
Get it. Thank you to everyone that shared today. The objective was to get as many voices as we could in this format. Thank you to all who were of service to make this global ACA World Convention come together. And I will go ahead and start the ACA prayer in Spanish. Once I do that, we're going to open the line for our panelists to say the ACA Serenity Prayer in whatever language is best for you. Let's take a deep breath all together, those of us who are on the line, and we'll switch to the slide with all of the prayers in different languages. And although you are muted, I have a feeling we could hear you take a deep breath with us and say the Serenity Prayer with us. So first I'll read it in Spanish, and then we'll open it up to the panelists. Dios, concédeme serenidad para aceptar a las personas que no puedo cambiar, el valor para cambiar aquella que puedo cambiar y la sabiduría para reconocer que esa soy yo. All right, everybody, deep breath. And let's go. Serenity Prayer.
Higher power.
Dieu, donnez-moi la sérénité. Acceptez les personnes que je ne peux pas changer. Le courage de changer celles que je peux changer. La sagesse de me rappeler que cette personne soit moi.
Change the one I can, and wisdom to know that was me.
Beautiful.
Yay.
So we're staying on. Please raise your hand if you still have a question. You can also post questions in the chat and we'll do our best to answer.
All right, we'll get right to it with John, and Alicia's next.
Hello, this is John in London, UK.
Hi, John. I was waiting for you.
Hey, yeah, it's all right. Just thought it's only once a year, so anyway. So my question is that, you know, so most of our face-to-face meetings in London have moved on to Zoom. But my question is, how do we, is there any thoughts about suggestions to maintain those kind of meetings after the lockdown? And maybe, you know, what's being of service to the rest of the world, you know, because, you know, when there's so many Zoom meetings in London at the moment, every day. Yeah, and just maybe, is there a way to connect better? Our intergroup meeting was last weekend. We didn't hear anything about the annual business conference or this convention at that intergroup. I had to just announce it very quickly at the end, you know, so doesn't seem to be a strong connection between our UK intergroup and you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So the question is related to UK intergroup and World Service Organization, or intergroups and regions in other parts of the world. Is that right?
Well, I'll answer the part about what, you know, what the world, you know, what meeting is going to look like in the future. And I definitely think people love the, you know, the virtual meetings and taking part of those. So there's definitely going to be a lot more of those. And I think the real interesting thing will be if there's going to be a hybrid, when people start going back to face-to-face people for those that can, will we want to virtually extend those meetings out to people who can't travel, but still like that meeting? And it's interesting because I think, you know, the growth of the meetings, sometimes you lose that edge of, you know, of familiarity and, you know, knowing the people. There's a connection that you develop with people. So it's going to be interesting how that changes over time. But I don't think anyone really knows yet. So it'll be interesting.
Okay, and I had a question in the chat. Okay, I am unmuted. Karsten from Denmark was not sure he fully understood what a region is. There are regions in North America. What about in Europe? There's a European committee. Is that committee a committee or is it a region?
Well, yeah, I'll jump in to answer that. I guess the European Committee was created a few years ago. I wasn't around when it was created, but it was just created for, you know, the need to connect with ACAs there. And we got, you know, someone was asked to do it, and it's been growing slowly just to carry the message of ACA and get ACA meetings, you know, some support and get the literature translation. But now that that's happening and ACA is growing, there definitely can and I think should be regions to, you know, do for ACA meetings in Europe and other parts of the world for the same things that we expect them to do here. So the European Committee is just a group of people connecting to help, you know, spread the message but they can't, but the regions would be a little more local, I think. So hope that explains some of the difference. And we'll go to the next question.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to say something, Sarah?
No, go ahead. Take more questions.
Okay. Alicia's waiting patiently. Go ahead, Alicia.
Can I just say, it's actually Sharon from Sydney. I have signed on with the wrong, I don't have multiple identities, it's a work colleague. So Sharon from Sydney Intergroup. I guess my question is, I can see the benefits. I mean, the benefits of setting up a region, and I'm thinking that the region would be Australia. Like, we've got a few intergroups here. And obviously the benefit is unity. And plus, as Carol said, running events that perhaps individual meetings or intergroups wouldn't be able to afford, and potentially for us buying literature in a way that could be more efficient, because it costs us a lot of money to get books landed in Australia. So I can see, and also strengthening intergroups, I can see all of that. My question is it does take some money to fund a region. I'm familiar with regions in another fellowship. And I just wanted to know what the experience was of the panelists in terms of getting contributions from intergroups and unaffiliated meetings, like meetings that are not affiliated with an intergroup. What's your experience been? Because regions are, I mean, you can't argue with the concept being a good idea, but in practice, what's the experience been like?
I can answer. Jim?
Yeah, go ahead, Carol. You able to share?
Okay, I wasn't sure if anybody heard me. Our region receives more money really from individual groups than we have we're starting to receive more from intergroups now. But at the beginning, it was mostly individual groups, and that's very consistent. They send us something every month from their, after they, figured out their prudent reserve, and then they divide it up between the WSO, the region, and the intergroups. And then the intergroups were reluctant to send money because they didn't know how they were supposed to divide it up, and WSO hadn't come up with an answer to that. Now we have that, so they're starting to send money. They divide between WSO and the region. Does that answer it?
Yes. What is the percentage of the intergroup donation? Because I'm not even aware of that. How much do they donate?
The intergroups to the regions?
Yeah, to service and region.
Did we come up with 60-40?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There is a trifold. Well, it's going to be updated. There's a trifold that has a percentage, and it's supposed to be updated. So if you send us your contact information, your email, we could send you a message when it's updated. And thank you for your question, and we wish you the best in growing the fellowship in Australia. And let us know. We certainly help you any way we can. And I want to move on to one last question from Zeus from New York.
I am Zeus, grateful recovery in the ACA.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you so much for may I be heard?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for the service in the space today. I wanted to find out who is the public information person liaison in a group in the Northeast region, if there is some of those people with that accountability. I wanted to also re-question the part where I was asking, where are the brown and Black people, other than how Carol chose to center whiteness as the color I was referring to, which wasn't the color I was referring to. And how are we getting the message to those populations that might not ever get to hear about an adult children movement, adult children of alcoholics movement. So I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in doing service at the public information level, and I'm asking that a couple of the panelists speak to my question. Thank you. I'll pass.
Thank you, Zeus. Let me take the question on diversity first. I'm the interim chair of diversity committee at the WSO that has just been created for the last 2 months. So we are looking for members, and we're looking at diversity and inclusiveness and accessibility. So if you have any interest in that, we'd love to hear from you. But we are doing what we can, and yeah, we thank you for the question, and I will turn it over to some of the regional folks to answer.
What initiative? What do you mean you're doing what you can? What does that look like on the ground? What's that been looking like in terms of brown and black people? What's that looking like?
Hi, Zeus. I'm Sarah. I think you raise an important concern, and there's a diversity committee that's being created to address part of that, but there's also another way to have us reach out to those communities and to make sure that we're reaching out to more adult children of diverse backgrounds. I think it would be great to have people like you on that committee, and I'm also going to make sure that that's taken into consideration moving forward. I don't know if that answers your concerns, but it's definitely on my mind as well.
Justine, are you still able here to answer the question on the public information? Justine? You're not muted, Justine. Are you able to answer the question on public information in the Northeast region?
Sorry. I need to find it. Well, I was answering a question in one of the sessions. What was the question?
Yeah, we're having a hard time hearing you, Justine, but the question was about, is there a public information contact for the Northeast region?
There is not a public information contact as such just yet. We are still in the process of discussing what outreach is going to look like for us and forming a committee. If you are within the Northeast region and interested in helping out with that, that'd be fabulous. Kicking this around for a while, it has become my practice, and I hope no one's offended, that when people say, you know, how come you're not doing such and so yet, I invite them to help. Because they're great ideas. I've almost never had anybody come to me with a bad idea, but
Can't hurt. Either.
I think we're having troubles with the audio.
Standing committees for events. Am I gone?
You were.
Oh, sorry. Right now, we only have standing committees for events and an ad hoc committee for policy creation. But we are ambitious, as Jim said, and welcome all input. So please reach out and get involved.
And I'm going to give my email. Hopefully it's a simple one. It's SVC for service, svc@acawso.org. Anyone interested in either the diversity work we're doing or anything else in the service area, please send an email to svc@acawso.org. And we're going to have to close this session down as we prepare for the next meeting. So thanks everyone for being here, and thanks for a wonderful job, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Sarah.
Thank
you,
Sarah. Great job, everyone. I'm really grateful for all the questions we got. We got more questions in the chat as well, and every voice matters in this fellowship. So I hope that you keep coming back and that we'll get to hear from you via email very soon. This is really great. What a great fellowship.
Thank you, Service Network Committee. This was great and informative.